I'm Randy the Natural Couture.
This is Dean Lister.
I'm Stefan Bonner.
This is Canada Spider Grove.
I'm Cara Present.
This is Brandon Truth Vera.
Hey, I'm Ariane Celeste.
Yeah, I'm Chuck Liddell.
I'm Forrest Griffin, and you're watching the MMA Fix.
You know, every time I talk to you, Randy, it seems to be at an Extreme Couture GI Foundation event. We're at another one today. Tell us about it.
We kind of put together a three-day event. We started with some celebrity poker last night at the Hard Rock, and that was fun. You know, it was more for the celebrities that donated their time and came here for this golf outing today. And then we have the golf today, and then we have a poker run on the motorcycles on Saturday starting at the gym. And hopefully all those things will continue to raise funds for our Extreme Couture GI Foundation for these wounded guys coming back.
Yeah, it's a really important cause, and you guys do some, I don't want to call them unconventional things, but some really fun events.
We're trying to be creative. You know, this idea was inspired by Michael Strahan. I did his golf outing a few months ago, and it was a three-day event, and we golfed, and we did a bunch of other stuff, and it was really a good time. And so I thought, you know, we've been talking about golf, and we weren't sure how to put it together, and then Scott and Val are, you know, operations people, and they've just done a marvelous job of putting this whole thing together.
Yeah, I've attended most Extreme Couture GI Foundation events here in Las Vegas, and there's kind of a beginning, middle, and end with even the interviews that we've done at these events. The first one was at the Hard Rock Poker Room, or actually in the Joint that day, and we sat down, we did an interview there, and you told me that you weren't going to fight for the UFC again unless you got to fight Fedor. That's changed a little bit.
Yeah, well, I think you learn, and it's been a long year, kind of sitting on my hands, going through the legal process. That's been frustrating. I think frustrating for both sides in a lot of ways. And I think meeting with Fedor's people realized that the likelihood that fight will happen is questionable, but it made more sense rather than spend a whole nother year in litigation and spending money on lawyers to come back to the UFC and bring him to the table, and he's talking to them. Hopefully they can work it out, but I'm not going to hold my breath. But you know, the window for me competing is getting smaller all the time at 45, and I just can't afford to sit out any longer. I want to compete. I want to fight while I can.
You said to me before that you and Dana White don't have any bad blood between you, but it must have taken some work to bury the hatchet, right?
No, I think it's a business decision. I think all along it's been a business decision. I haven't made anything personal. I haven't done any personal attacks on him. He's made some irrational comments here and there, but that's Dana. That's what he does. It isn't like him and Tito, where they just absolutely don't like each other. We never really had that issue. We didn't see eye to eye on a lot of things, but I think we've kind of let all that water go under the bridge, and we've done our best to both make some compromises and come together and hopefully move forward in a positive way.
Was there any one thing that really made the decision easy for you to go back to the UFC?
Well, I think just the realization that I could just be done fighting. You know, with the legal system the way it is, it could carry on for another year, maybe two, and there's still no guarantee then that I would be free and clear contractually to fight Fedor somewhere else. So the path of least resistance was to come back and try and do it here.
Interesting that you say the path of least resistance, because your opponent in this next fight in the UFC seems like a little bit of resistance could be there, huh?
He's a big guy, big athletic guy. I'm looking forward to it. You know, another wrestler, so I have a real clear idea of where he's coming from, and as he makes the transition into MMA from the collegiate wrestling background, and you don't find a lot of guys his size that move the way he does, so that makes it intriguing for me.
Are you worried about fighting Brock Lesnar?
No, I'm not worried about fighting anybody. You know, I think it's a fight. Anything can happen in a fight. I know how to prepare. I know that I can relax and go in there and do what I've trained to do, and I'm pretty confident in that. But again, anything can happen. That's the fight game. So that doesn't worry me. I've been on both sides of it already. So whatever happens, happens. I know I'll be able to push him and make him work, and we'll see what he's got.
As a huge fan of MMA, I've got to say that I was thrilled to find out that you were coming back to the fight game. How do you feel that the community, the MMA community, your fight team, and some people that are close to you reacted to the news?
Oh, they've been excited. Yeah, I think it's been good for me to kind of put the negativity behind us and move forward positively. And I think the team is happy to have me back in training camp and kind of in that mode. And, you know, I think for some of the other athletes that they're represent Extreme Couture, it's been good for them, and they fight for the UFC. It's kind of removed some, you know, there's like this big elephant in the room that, right. You know, it's made it difficult on some of them too. Tyson and Gray and Forrest and some of those guys, it's like, you know, oh, we can't mention Extreme Couture, we can't do any of the shooting there. Some of those things have been difficult on those guys too. So it's just kind of nice to have all that over with. The fans have been fantastic all along from start to finish, and I think most of them have expressed a lot of happiness that we're going to be back in the cage.
One of our favorite fighters here on Raw Vegas TV is Frank Mir, and we were doing a Road to series as he was leading up to his big fight with Brock Lesnar, and he made a comment to us saying that he would never want to fight you. What do you think about that?
Well, that's interesting. I've trained with him a couple times, and I think a lot of him. I think he's got tons of talent, and I'm actually very happy to see him kind of back in championship form. And you know, this is a huge fight with him and Nogueira, and potentially I could end up fighting the winner of that fight. So we'll see what happens.
Final question, how does that work with the unification? Because Nogueira has the interim title, you actually have the title. If you beat Lesnar and then Nogueira beats Mir, do you guys fight for the unification, and what happens if one of those things doesn't happen?
Well, it doesn't matter. There's still 2 titles. He earned that interim championship. That's not just going to go away. They're not just going to take that away from him. He's putting that championship title on the line with Mir. Obviously, I'm fighting Lesnar for a title fight, for the title. So the winners in those situations will come out and they'll fight to unify the titles, however that works out.
Well, best of luck to you. We're really, really looking forward to you coming back at UFC 91. And thanks for talking to us today.
Thank you.